Yeah, so this week, or for this week, we are seeing more bearishness of things. All right, for price to continue bearish like so. And when price is able to break this area, this is another area for a very nice conservative entry right about here. Okay, when price comes break, retest, and push continuations to our, we will be looking for price to get to 77k. All right, so that's a very massive drop all the way to the downsides of things. Okay,
tips at my FX right here, the prophetic analyst. Welcome back to our weekly market forecast. This is the weekly market forecast for the week of the 14th to the 18th of April, which is the third month of the week, and happy Easter in advance for the Christian community. Right, so without further ado, let's dive into the business of the day. So we're starting off with BTC. Okay, so for BTC, guys, you can see we had some awesome trades in which we took. We had like 1, 2, 3, 4 winning trades in a row, which were giving us 1:2, 1:4, 1:4, and another 1:3. Okay, so we have been on a winning streak on BTC for the longest of time, guys. So you know what this means for us to be in such winning streaks, and which most of the signals, or all of the signals, were also being sent on the free Telegram community. So if you are not on a free Telegram community, click on the link on the description below to join our free Telegram community. And I'm going to add the before and after of this signal somewhere around in this video for you guys to see how we were able to decipher these trades. Okay, so from last week, when we did the market focus, which was right about Sunday, price was somewhere around in these zones. So we did analyze price coming all the way back to the downsides. Okay, so I sent this trade calls, okay, on the general community, which a lot of people made money and they were very grateful. And thereafter, price was super bearish all the way to our target. Our target was the 77 area, which you guys can see right about there. And we were also looking for a break retest and a continuations, which thereafter we also had that, which we took this second trade. And when price came back into this zone properly again, we took this trade, but we understood that we don't have to hold that trade for long because of how price accumulated all the way down here. And also, if you look inside there, you see price created something like a W pattern, okay, which you guys call the double bottom. Okay, so price had a nice double bottom being created here. So hence, and then when we saw price coming back here with some reversal candle patterns, I sent out these signals with very nice tight stops, and we were targeting these areas of interest, which is what you guys are seeing there before price started going up from there. So we had a very nice sniper entry, a sniper exit, and a new re-entry for the bullish continuations, which I've taken out my 90%, and I'm still swinging my 10% on this particular trade because I'm more like seeing it seems like the BTC is going to retrace, which I have published this on my Twitter. So if you are not following me on Twitter, please do well go follow me on Twitter. I'm seeing a massive turnaround on BTC heading back to the 1008, all right, back to 1008, and even creating a new highs of getting to 120. Okay, 120, guys. So that's actually my projections on BTC on a bigger picture, on the bigger pictures to the upsides. Okay, so for the coming weeks, okay, how can we take the best possible trades, which I'm also waiting for a re-entry. I hope this price or this trade actually comes to give us a deeper retracement and a continuations to the upsides. Okay, I need a more deeper retracement on price back to these zones, or maybe a little bit shy away on these zones. Then we could be targeting our next level, which is our 86k. Yeah, our 86k all the way back there. Let me take this one out. Let me take this out. These are not important anymore. So we are looking forward for price to get to 89k, or the 91k. All right, so we're actually bullish on this, so I would be only give you guys bullish scenarios of things. So do well to mark it out on your phone, your PC, or your trading device. Up next is gold.
price to come back to the 3000 area right about here, these zones, and it drop. Right, always remember you target your 100% retracement level first, then you can go all the way to the downsides. Okay, so we'll be expecting some buys to sell scenarios on Xauusd.
I hope you can see how we predicted gold into precision. Okay, weeks ago we predicted, since we had this chart pattern, we predicted gold to drop all the way back to our 2940 ounce, which is what we had here, our first level target, and all the way down here, and we saw price splashing on this trend line which we have there before the bullish continuations, which we actually missed these bullish continuations. I wish I was actually actively on the chart right about this time to take that bullish considerations, but regardless, we are always seeing, we will most likely see more trading opportunities on this space. Okay, so no gimmicks, all right, not taking much of your time. Price has created a new high, okay, a new high higher than this previous high. So currently price is at the 3227 ounce, or 37 ounce rather. So we should be looking for price to give us more like a pullback. I would love to see price give us a meantime pullbacks, guys, a meantime pullbacks before the bullish continuations. Clearly the trend has changed because this chart pattern has been altered, this structure here has been broken. Okay, so I'll be looking for more like a sell to buy scenarios. Okay, I love when price pullbacks, or when price breaks out of an area. Most likely 80 to 90% of the time price would most likely come back for a pullback to ascertain that the trend is ready to move before going to the upsides. Okay, we could even have a deeper pullbacks, like till somewhere around here. Let me extend that like so. So we could even have a deeper pullback, like back to the 3,110 areas before we could continue back. We are looking forward for BTC to go to 3,400, Xauusd rather, to go to 3,400. But before price could do that, okay, we should have a pullbacks, okay, higher time frame pullbacks, then a continuations on price to our 3,400 areas right about there, which is our target. So do well to mark these zones on your phone, your PC, or your trading device. Up next is EURUSD.
Currently, as price looks, price we may be having a little bit of range from here. Okay, and price continuing from here to back to 100% retracement level.
For EURUSD, you can see how we predicted EURUSD into precision. We wanted price to come, price was closed around here, market opened there last week, so we said that price would either give us a deeper retracement here or react off here before continuation. So we clearly saw price come back to these other zones, then come back here again to the second zone before that reaction, which we clearly had there. So let me take this out. All right, then we had price reacting off there, then we had that bullish continuation to the upsides. Also, these were signals being sent. You can see, for some of you may say, most times I have big stop loss, but you can see how tight our stop loss is, and price thereafter we took that trade, which we also shared on the community. That's why I said, if you're not on a free Telegram community, click on the link on the description or the first comment on the comment section to join our free community. We used to send free signals like this on a weekly basis for you to use to grow your account and make money for yourself. So we had a very nice trade in which we took here off from these zones. That's why it's very important to be trading off the zones. Okay, and we were targeting 100% retracement level right about there. And we also had another trade in which we took here, and we were targeting our next zone here, which was our 1.120 area, and price also respected that. But thereafter we have been having some massive bullishness of price since thereafter all the way to the upside. So let's see where is our best level target for the coming weeks. Okay, so let's look at the weekly time frame. Wow, so this is how last week actually closed, with this massive bullish candle to the upside. So let's go back to, let's see our 4 hours if you can see some minor zones. Okay, so clearly here we are on the 4 hour time frames. So we have some zones here on the 4-hour time frames. I think I will take this out, all right, not to clutter our screens. All right, so although appreciative price can give us a sell to buy scenarios, all right, more like a pullbacks, all right, price to pullbacks to either of these zones, all right, price to come back to the 1.107 or give us a deeper pullbacks to a 1.092 before we could be targeting our next levels, which is massively all the way up there, which is at 1.20 to the upsides. Okay, so please do well to mark out these levels, these areas on your phone, your PC, or your trading device. Okay, so up next is GBPUSD. For GBPUSD, last week, guys, I told you guys GBPUSD is how price actually closed, was not more like correlating. It was quite funny. Okay, but regardless, everything we predicted also played out into precision. That's why our trading strategy matched with whatever price reaction may give us. I showed you guys that price will most likely come back to these zones before a continuation stay to the upside.
USD is showing us is bullish, but looking at what GBPUSD is showing us, it looks more like the bearish side of things may have to happen or occur. Okay, but whichever we're using our strategy, we'll know how to decipher this. Okay, so we may have price come back to these zones, all right, this AOI, this daily and the weekly AOI before a bullish continuations actually, guys. Okay, we may have
which price clearly did that. So we'll be going back to our hourly time frames, okay, for you guys to see. All right, you guys can also see the before and after in which we had played out. Okay, we had price gave us a break, that retest which we were looking for, coming back to our 1.29 zones, which is these areas right about here that we're seeing clearly there. And price has been super, I was bearish since then. Thereafter we had that bullish continuations. We also took a buys, we sent out buy trade, but this actually initial buy trade here actually hit stop loss. Okay, actually hit stop loss, but we were actually right about the zones, just that our entries were quite early, or price just had to do its thing. Okay, but regardless, just you can see the little just like barely like 3 to 5 pips price took us out, and thereafter we were bullish since then. And but we're able to have a re-entry on this, all right, on this all the way to the upsides, which, like I said, last week was a very awesome trade. We had 1:4s, 1:3s. I think our lowest kind of trades were 1:3s, and this one gave us a 1:5, guys. Last week was actually, we made a lot of money last week, guys. Was actually a massive trade. Then when I had my 1:5, I took away my 90%, held the remaining 10% to these black zones, which I had finally exited this trade. Okay, so where is our next possible areas for the coming weeks which we can take trade continuations? Mind you, price is clearly very bullish right about now. Price is clearly very bullish, all right, from the look of things. So let's look for the best possible zones in which we can take these trade continuations. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys bullish scenarios. So where price currently is, okay, we could see price starting to go bullish from there to our 1.342 area, or we could have a deeper retracement to our 1.30. all right, these zones, these green zones, then we could go all the way to the upside. But mind you, always target our first level target, which is our 1 point, which is the 100% retracement level of this price, which is the 132 area, before we go to our 134 area to the upsides. Okay, so that will be it for GBPUSD. Up next is the DXY. So for the DXY, we actually predicted the DXY into precision. Like you can see, we wanted price to come to the zones of the 103 and the drop, which you guys can clearly see that arrow there, which we're heading for 100% retracement level, which price also respected that. So since we were able to decipher the DXY, it was quite easy for us to make good money, which you guys can see from our trade calls, which a lot of people made money from last week from our trade calls, which we were smashing take profit. I think we only had 1 or 2 losses in that week, and we made a lot of money. Okay, so price clearly, that's why chart patterns are very prominent for me. I like using chart patterns. Price clearly gave us our head and shoulders, and after this drop, clearly price came back to respect this neckline of the head and shoulders. Okay, these are things that we teach in depth in our mentorship, which we are currently running registrations for our mentorship for this batch, and we are actually doing an Easter promo for anybody interested. We only have 5 slots, so we have 3 slots left, okay, for our mentorship, but instead of $300, we will be giving it out for just $150 for the 3 remaining slots. So first come, first serve basis. Okay, so if you like the way that we trade and you want to be able to decipher the market just like we do, just for $150 you can coup our mentorship and also make money for yourself. We can see price dropping all the way from there, a nice chart pattern, head and shoulders, which you guys can see from last week. We wanted price to come back to the 103 areas, and price respected 100% retracement level, just you can see, and thereafter we have been super bearish on the DXY. So what does this mean? If the DXY would be bearish or was bearish like it was, we'll be having the opposite on the quote base, which is like the GDP and the Euro USD, which was one of our age in which we used to making money for ourselves for as at last week. So let's look at how last week actually closed on the higher time frame. So currently price for last week closed with this massive bearish candle. Currently looking left, you can see price is reacting off the zones of a very strong support level, so we could be having more like a pullbacks, more like a buy to sell scenarios. Okay, price coming back between the 102 and the 101 areas, which is right about these 2 zones, okay, before we could have price continuations to the downside. So it's more like a buy to sales scenarios of things. Let's look at the lower time frames. Okay, so we have a nice structure here, we have something like here, and we have the zones like here. Okay, so if price can take out that neckline there, all right, on that retest, you can go for price coming back to these areas before we can continue down. Okay, so that will be it for the DXY. Up next is USD card.
Buy to sales already. All right, so price could be reacting off these zones, these areas of interest, which we have 0.4427 there, then a bearish continuations to 1.407.
So you can see how we predicted USD card into precision for last week. We had this initial trading which we took, TP stop loss was being smashed. Okay, price had to do its thing, like you win some, you lose some, but thereafter when we had our next set of entry possibilities, okay, we were able to take this next trade, which we also sent out the signal on the community, which a lot of people also made money from it, which I'm going to add somewhere around in this video. You can see we had a nice 1:3, like I said last week. Our lowest kind of risks were like 1:3s. We were going 1:3s, 1:4s, 1:5, and so on and so forth. And you can see since when we took that trade, since thereafter price has been super bearish, and this is why we say we trade from zones to zones. Over 400 pips drop on USD card, okay, and we were able to coup over 200 pips just from that week. Okay, another 200 pips drop on the downside here. So imagine if we were able to hold all of this, but you don't have to be greedy. So this would have been a very nice 1:10 trade for us. Okay, so that's why we say we trade from zones to zones. Okay, so if we are able to have a good entry from our trading strategy, these are the kind of trades that will basically give you 500 to 1,000 pips. That is why I say we predict 500 to 1,000 pips into the future. So moving forward for the coming weeks, or for last week, we had this nice bearish trade. Signals are also being sent. I'll add it somewhere around in the screen for you guys to see. And so let's see how last week actually closed on the weekly time frame. Okay, so looking at the weekly time frame, price actually closed super bearish. So since price looking left now, price is currently seated at a very strong support level, okay, a resistance turn support right now. So we can see price react there again. So we are expecting price to either react off the zones or come to this trend line and react all the way to the upside for a USD card. Okay, so it's just for you to go to your hourly time frame, look for your best possible entries around that zones, okay, and take your trade entries from there. Okay, so that'll be it for USD card. Up next is USDJPY.
Guys, okay, remember first level target should be the zones, which is the 146. All right, before we can now go as deep as a 145. Okay, so we should be expecting price to come back to these zones before the bearishness continuations.
For USDJPY, we can clearly see how we predicted USDJPY into precision. Price came back to react of the 148 areas in which we were looking for price to come there, and we sent out the straight calls, which we also made money from it. Like I said, our trades minimum were like 1:3 for last week. Massive trades, trade calls for us for last week, and we were able to make a lot of money. Okay, so that was, which I'm going to add it somewhere around in this video, those signals in which we sent. So moving forward for last week, how price actually closed, you can see price is very super bearish. Okay, we could have price come back to these zones, come back to the support properly, then before it continues to the upsides back to the 146 area or so on. But let's go back to the hourly time frame. Let's see if we can make something out of the hourly time frame, guys. Okay, let's check the hourly time frame. So let's go to the 1 hour. Okay, for the 1 hour, I have a minor zone here, guys. I have a minor zone here, which price could pull back inside here and go back to a 146. All right, if price can give us that, that would be more like, would be looking like a chart pattern right about there of a left shoulder head and a right shoulder. Okay, so you can either enter from this right shoulder here. Okay, you can either enter from the right shoulder, or you could enter from the neckline. Okay, the neckline, which I'm going to mark out like so. All right, so either price comes here, or you wait for this neckline to be broken to be on a safer side, then you go for your 146 area to the upside. So that will be it for USDJPY. Mark this on your phone, your PC, or your trading device. So that will be it for this week, guys. If you have any comment, please do well to drop your comment on your comment section. Always like, share, and subscribe. These are the only ways that you can help support us on the free stuff that we do right here. And also, if you are not on our free Telegram community, click on the link on the description or the first comment to join our free Telegram community. There we hold free live sessions during the week, and you can also ask forex related questions on a one-on-one basis. And also April mentorship is, we are giving out an Easter bonus, or discount rather, Easter discount. Instead of $300, you can get our mentorship for just our advanced mentorship for just $150. Okay, just for 3 people that are going to that are ready to get it. So that will be it for this week, guys. Always remember to plan your trades and trade your plans. See you guys on the other side. Cheers.